Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to the Charity Talks. After a bit of a break, we are going to start for the new year, 2nd January 2024. আজকে আমাদের অত্যন্ত ইম্পর্ট্যান্ট একটা টপিক নিয়ে আলোচনা করব, সেটা হচ্ছে ম্যাটার্নাল হেলথ, মায়ের স্বাস্থ্য, মায়ের যারা যে সমস্ত মারা প্রেগনেন্সির সময় আনফর্চুনেটলি কমপ্লিকেশনে মারা যাচ্ছে, এইসব জিনিসকে নিয়ে যারা ট্যাকল করার জন্য একটা ভেরি ইনোভেটিভ ক্রিয়েটিভ একটা অর্গানাইজেশন, তাটার নাম হচ্ছে ম্যাটার্নাল এইড অ্যাসোসিয়েশন, ইউকে বেসড, বাট সংক্ষেপে মা, MAA। তো মায়ের ফাউন্ডার ছিলেন ডক্টর জায়গিরদার, আমাদের সিলেটের বাংলাদেশি বংশোদ্ভূত এখানকার ইয়াং জেনারেশন। He established it. Today we will be talking to Fahmida Haq, who is the director for UK. Welcome, Fahmida Haq, to the show.
Thank you so much.
And we will be, inshallah, having the opportunity to hear from you. If you kindly take us back about the original reason of setting it up and how it came about.
Of course. As you mentioned, our founder, Dr. Akhil Jagirdar, he went on a visit to Bangladesh while he was in medical school at King's College London. And he was completing a medical placement, and he was in a labour ward in a Bangladeshi hospital. So Silator Maze Ekhta Hospital Asla are Ekhta Ma, pregnant woman, table she's giving birth. And unfortunately, what Akhil saw was that the mother, she bled to death.
My God.
Yeah, so she bled to death during giving birth. And what he realised was it was due to preventable reasons. And so he came back to the UK, he formed a team together, and he said, what can we do to tackle this issue of maternal health care and losing women and mothers during pregnancy? And so MA's main goal is to revolutionise global maternal health care. Annually, we lose 300,000 women during childbirth, and 99% of these deaths, they happen in the developing world, so in poor countries. But what's astonishing is 90% of these are preventable. So it's a huge area for improvement, and that's why MA that's why MA does the work that we do. So our goal is to reduce that maternal mortality, and the way that we do it, and what makes us, I believe, to be a unique organisation is we like to provide evidence-based approach. So we like to do research and come up with innovative ways to tackle these issues.
See, Fahmida, most laymen will think that if you want to prevent maternal death, so you have to have hospitals, maternal clinic in various parts of the world, hire doctors, nurses, paramedics, etc., build a big infrastructure.
Yeah.
That means a huge investment. How are you trying to circumvent that?
So I agree. It will be quite difficult and costly to just place a hospital somewhere, fundraise a large amount. But to sustain that will be very difficult, and again, it will be very costly. So we like to use, like I mentioned, evidence-based practices to work locally, to educate and train local doctors that can work in communities, and
upgrade their capacity.
Exactly.
Right.
So we work with local healthcare workers, local doctors. We also have health brigade kind of health workers, and they are equipped to go to local groups of women can come, or the mothers can come to our local clinics. We have a few throughout Sylhet, and they have the training to identify red flag symptoms, so situations that might be a high risk or putting the mother at high risk. Then what they can do is assess whether that mother can be treated in the clinic or whether she needs to be taken elsewhere.
Refer somewhere else.
Exactly.
But have you thought of, I mean, I don't know whether you are doing, in terms of when the women in the rural area get pregnant, they do not generally register with the local clinic or any health centers.
Yeah.
Do you have any arrangement of that? Or?
Yes, so we do work in rural villages in Bangladesh as well. One actually that we have a focus in girls' education is in a rural village called Ramsiri in Hobbyganj.
Oh, which area?
Ramsiri in Hobbyganj.
Right.
And what we do is we like to take the education to them. So what we do is we provide educational seminars during our health camps that we conduct, and we also provide girls' education in local schools in these rural areas in Bangladesh as well.
Very good.
So
Yes.
from a young age, we are teaching them what to look out for when they eventually do become pregnant. And what we also, really believe in is empowering the next generation. So Suto takhte hikaile tara
Yes,
boroile shobri
Inshallah.
hikaita farba.
But তোমরা কিছু করতেছো না in terms of the man, because if I mean, this is a Bangladeshi society, man takes an advanced role. So if the men are completely unaware of these issues, do you have any program of that?
So we actually do also encourage the fathers to take part in these educational seminars that we hold. So actually we are, it's the women and the mothers that are coming to the clinics, but we understand, the father will come along. So we'll explain to them as well. They will take part in the teaching and they can learn just as much as the mothers can as well.
Because when you're talking about the red flag, when there is a woman pregnant and there are signs that this might end up into complications, that signs can also be seen by the husband or brother or any male member who may be able to take action. So I think the education part of your program should have...
we definitely agree. It's not just, it's education all round. You can't just target a community, one aspect of a community. Everybody in that ecosystem, should gain this education. So it's the mothers that we're teaching, it's the fathers that we're teaching. We also, we see, mother-in-laws or older senior members of the family coming along with them, so we teach them as well. So really we believe that education is the most sustainable way to tackle this issue. But we also provide the healthcare as well for free.
So in terms of your current approach, you have initiated the first program in Bangladesh. That's very commendable, that our Matribhumi, our homeland, that you initiate the process. But whom do you work with? Do you work with the local NGOs or the local government hospitals or the private clinic?
Yeah.
How do you do it?
So we actually have our own Bangladesh team. They run operations and logistics, and it's comprising of over 100 volunteers from different medical schools throughout Sylhet.
So you're concentrating in Sylhet now?
Yeah, so right now, just so that we can fully build our project, really thoroughly understand our project before we expand to different areas, we'd like to understand how our projects can work in one community. Because we really think community and providing support to a community is at the heart of making change kind of be able to grow, rather than just establishing ourselves in just centrally.
You want to grow organically, slowly.
Yeah. So we have a team of over 100 volunteers in Bangladesh. We have a Bangladesh lead, Dr. Chowdhury in Bangladesh. He kind of oversees kind of the operations and logistics. And we also have a team here in the UK. So that's who I take care of. So imagine an equivalent of myself operating in Bangladesh. They provide kind of the volunteers for the health camps that we run. They provide the training for the doctors and the doctors themselves in our clinics as well.
Yeah.
So the full team is, we're a grassroots charity, so we work on the ground, and it's run by Bangladesh.
In terms of engaging the volunteer doctor, there are many private medical colleges as well in Bangladesh.
Yeah.
So what is your strategy? How do you attract them? How do you sort of go and engage them?
Yeah, so
because one of the tragedy, particularly in Bangladesh, Fahmida, you may be aware of, that a lot of people graduated from medical school and then they try to concentrate in living in the cities.
Yeah.
They don't live in the rural areas. So it is, when I was running a large Muslim charity, so we had hospitals like Kulaura. So to attract good quality doctor to remain in Kulaura was very difficult. So have you addressed that?
So actually one of the ways that we work to address that issue is actually quite similar to how we do it in the UK. We look at the student population in Bangladesh. And so the medical schools that we work in Sylhet, we actually see that the medical students, they want to give back. Tara, country or thara community or help konta sign.
Yes, yes.
And so once they, they volunteer with Ma during their medical school kind of training, and then they become a doctor, and then they want to continue to help Ma when they are a doctor. So they can make their work not just, help the private community, which is fantastic and it's needed, but the rural community and the local community can also thrive because they want to help. And it's how we work in the UK as well. We have a huge national program called Ma Month that we fundraise for, and it's over 35 universities across the UK, and it's students that want to help. So
the medical students mainly?
It's lots of medical students, but any students really. It's all students, every subject, they want to help.
So can you tell us about Ma Month?
Yeah, sure. So Ma Month is our flagship UK program or project, and it involves, if you're a university student and you want to support women in a different country or mothers in Bangladesh, this is your way to do it. And we have over 35 universities that are supporting us in Ma Month this year. It's grown year by year, so we started with 20, 25, now 35 universities, not just in the UK, but also now we have students in America joining us as well. We've got a couple of universities in New York. And 1 month throughout the year, February, so it's coming up, throughout all of February, these students just are fundraising, raising awareness about maternal health issues, girls' education, and really just raising awareness about Ma. And it's a fantastic way to engage the youth. It's kind of a running theme that we have in all of our programs, speak to everybody or educate everybody while they're younger. And it really stays with individuals once they leave university as well. I heard about Ma when I was at university. I was at King's College, London, and then I did my master's at Imperial. And I saw, as the years go by, the university students, they are taking the word of Ma into their workforce. Like just a couple of weeks ago.
What is the Ma Month involved? So the individuals from one university, can you explain how? Is it 10, 12 students, one student? What do they do?
So there's no limit. It can be as many students that want to take part. Predominantly it's the Bangladesh societies at the universities. Yeah. So however big the societies are and their supporters are. But we have also various different kind of women's health societies also taking part. They also compete with each other, so we have a leaderboard, and they are essentially trying to see which university can raise the most amount of money for Ma during February. So from February 1st to the end of February, they are coming up with their own campaigns, they're coming up with their own initiatives, using their creativity to fundraise for Ma. We provide support.
In terms of imparting the knowledge to these volunteers, they raise fund for Ma's program in Bangladesh. That's very good. But in terms of their full understanding of the maternal issues, how do you disseminate the information to them? So
our volunteers are very engaging with us. They liaise with members of our committee. So within our Ma UK team, we have a team dedicated to supporting Ma Month, the Ma Month team. They come under the fundraising team in the UK. And the Ma Month team's goal is to not just help deliver Ma Month, but to make sure that the universities have the support that they need. This includes the education side. So this is to understand what is Ma, what's our goals, and what are our different projects, because we understand in order for them to fundraise for us, of course they need to know where their funds are going. So we provide that support to them as well.
Yeah, but do they understand that this is a preventable sort of exercise?
Yeah, definitely. So at the beginning of, I think sometimes it's 1 or 2 weeks before Ma Month, we invite all of the presidents of the societies to a Ma Month launch day, or it could be a training day, essentially. And we essentially explain to them what we do, what our different projects are, and we provide that information and education to them.
So in terms of those who are getting involved?
Exactly. So it's usually the leaders or the presidents or the vice presidents of the society.
Of the society.
Exactly.
And how long they continue to be engaged? Within the Ma Month they are active, and after that, do you have follow-up?
Yeah, so there's definitely the peak activities during Ma Month, so during February, but our universities support us throughout the year. If we have a campaign, we know that we can rely on that student population because they are really so powerful. Kind of the student voice and the student population in this country, specifically the British Bangladeshi student population, is so engaging and so forthcoming. So even after Ma Month is finished, they support us during our Ramadan campaign. They support us during Journey Ma, which is a summer program that we take students and volunteers over to Bangladesh every year. It's usually volunteers that have heard about us through Ma Month. So they're really engaged throughout the whole year, I would say.
Okay, so that is quite impressive ways of getting university involved, but you need to have a strong UK team. That means a lot of, I would call it, outreach individuals who can go campus to campus and engage the societies.
Exactly.
And for you, on your own, it is way too tough. So how are you doing that? Like 35 universities, maybe after a while it will be 100 universities.
Yeah.
So what are your plan of engaging students?
Yeah, so in terms of the UK team, we have a very rigorous structure. We have an academic team, we have a fundraising team, we have a media and campaigns team, public relations team within the UK team.
They're all volunteers?
They're all volunteers, exactly. And what the teams are dedicated to is essentially to help these UK projects flourish, whether it's from a media campaigns point of view. So our campaigns team will provide the videos or the posters or kind of any graphics design or the website, or it might be the fundraising team. The fundraising team will provide the operations and the logistics, or we have the PR team. They will take the word of Ma to a whole new level, to television programs and radio and TV, etc. And in terms of how we manage supporting the universities, and if we go from 35 to 100, again, it's that as the number of supporters and universities grow, so does the team that we have as well. So we're very fortunate to have volunteers that work very dedicated for us, and year in, year out, we see many applications coming in of people who just want to help and support.
Apart from the Bangladeshi societies, are you not trying to spread it out to other societies like maybe Islamic ISOC, Islamic societies,
yeah,
or even other ethnic societies,
yeah,
Turkish societies, Kurdish societies,
exactly,
etc.
100%. This is exactly what we've also done. So for we've reached out to other societies outside of Bangladesh societies. For example, we had a project based in Afghanistan where we were supporting widows by providing them with food and clothing. And so we reached out to Afghan societies, and we saw that they were really forthcoming in wanting to support as well. We have also reached out to different women's obstetrics and gynecology societies, so different specialisms in women's health.
Yeah.
And we've also reached out to ISOCs as well. So ISOCs are also beginning to support us as well. They'll be helping us out this Ramadan with our campaigns this year. So we have branched out of Bangladesh society.
Fahmida, you are doing incredible work, mashallah. I mean, you have talking about Ma Months, very inspiring. Even if, say, 35 universities, if you can have 10 people involved, so 350 people getting to understand the root cause of the maternal death and then how it can be dealt with. So this is a very, very innovative. I have very rarely seen Muslim charities to be so forward-looking, advanced in thinking and trying to figure out the most cost-effective way of dealing with an issue. I mean, I still feel that when you talk to the overall in your fundraising effort to high net worth individuals or very corporate bodies for donation and they would prefer to talk to, yes, we need a what do you call it, early child incubation. Is it incubation place?
Like a neonatal?
No. Say, for example, if a baby is born 3 months early.
Oh, premature.
Yeah, premature. The incubation center. So, if you go to a high net worth donor or big corporate bodies, they would understand it. They can see a physical structure. You're asking for money, they can give it in a hospital and others. So I'm just exchanging ideas with you. While you remain a voluntary groups of mobilizing young people, doctors, nurses, even non-medical students as well, interested to contribute towards it, brilliant. But at the same time, if it is in Bangladesh, there are state hospitals and they are not fully equipped either. Although poor country cannot afford that, but good news is that Bangladesh has every upazila or whatever, the remote, around 480 odd centers, health centers, local health center has been established. But I was just, while you were talking to me, I was thinking that perhaps Ma can have arrangement with the Ministry of Health or health centers that you can campaign for upgrading the equipment in those places. So, for example, you are not asking organization to fund Ma, but they can fund a incubation place for baby in Sunamganj Hospital or any other hospital that you want.
No, definitely.
So this could be a politically quite astute strategy for Ma, rather than asking for funding Ma, that because your objective is to reduce maternal death.
Definitely.
Yeah? That is the bottom line.
Definitely.
So therefore, how best you can do it, we don't want you, big organization, to fund us to build a hospital. Hospital is already there, but they're lacking equipment, lacking X-ray machine, lacking, I forgot the name, that you do the checking.
Scan? Ultrasound scan?
Ultrasound scanning.
Yeah.
So one ultrasound machine, I found one charity, so they have been working in Syria for the Syrian refugees. So they go and ask for funding that we have this hospital, that many patients coming in, we need X number of ultrasound machine, and they can raise the fund very quickly.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think this is something for your management to think about.
It's quite, what you're mentioning is quite similar to our most recent project actually, which is the opening of our natural birthing centre.
Okay, tell me about it.
Sure. So our natural birthing centre, we came about, it was actually, like you mentioned, it's not something that we will build from scratch or are funding just for kind of a building, and its contents, but we have found a hospital that we have attached our natural birthing centre to.
Natural
birthing centre.
Natural birthing
exactly.
centre. Yeah.
Because, and the reason why we see this as really important is actually the rate of caesarean section births in Bangladesh is extremely high. Very high.
I think the doctors want to. I have got a different view. I have got a different view of birth control. They said, okay, if the caesarean is done, the women would not have pregnancy later, something like that. And I don't take it.
There are multiple reasons behind it, but the fact of the matter is that the rate of caesarean sections and actually the rate of medically unnecessary caesarean sections are really high. So what we have opened this natural birthing centre for is, number one, to promote the idea of natural births and to prioritise the possibility of going for a natural birth as much as possible or as feasible as it is.
Excellent.
And we provide the births completely for free. So any mothers that would like to come, we have our doctors who are there that will be able to facilitate these births. And like you mentioned, we have the machines that are required.
We'll go for a short break soon. But I just wanted to give you some few minutes to think it through. The natural birth center, if natural birth center can be accommodated adjacent to any mosque. The mosque in Bangladesh is women do not go. But actually the Prophet never stopped women coming to the mosque. But if a health center sort of thing can be established, but I can talk it after the break.
Definitely.
Just have some few minutes thinking. We are going to take a short break, and inshallah after that we will continue our discussion, very interesting discussion with Fahmida. Very creative mind and a lot of out-of-box thinking. And inshallah, we'll continue the discussion after the few minutes break. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. We are talking to Fahmida. Fahmida, I asked you questions with regard to natural birth, to promote natural birth rather than. So I need to know, as a layman, the difference between cesarean and the natural birth, and how can we promote natural birth?
Yeah, definitely.
একটু বাংলা মিশিয়ে টিশিয়ে বললে মানুষ বুঝুক।
So natural birth is, as the name suggests, the mother can give birth naturally as she can, and there is minimal kind of surgical requirement. There's kind of no opening or anything like that.
So the idea called forceps is with natural birth ভিতরে পড়ে?
Yeah, so you can have a forceps delivery with a natural birth as well, but that's if is required.
Yeah.
If the mother needs assistance. But then there's also a cesarean section, which is where obviously
cut.
So mother or fet cut for a baby parain. But with cesarean section, there's much more risk. And right now, the number of cesarean sections, I think 67% of births in Bangladesh are through cesarean section. Oof. And 2/3 of them will be at a higher risk during that process. Their lives are at higher risk, not just the mother, but the baby as well. And 77% of cesarean sections are medically unnecessary. And these are all kind of statistics that our academic research team have provided and they're constantly looking into. And so this is why we've opened up a natural birthing centre to provide mothers with the possibility.
Before you go to natural birth centre, tell me the 77% is unnecessary cesarean. Why?
Yeah, so again, there are various reasons that a mother may be directed more towards cesarean section. Cesarean sections are much quicker compared to a natural birth. The labours are longer in natural birth, whereas a cesarean, some people just say it's a very quick. Take the baby out, but there is much higher risk with that surgery, even though it is quicker. And so again, we're trying to provide this education with the introduction of our natural delivery centre. We provide mothers with that opportunity as well, so that first of all they have the education during our educational seminars to know that a natural delivery is possible and kind of to maybe opt for that where it's possible.
It's better.
It's better if the doctor advises or is medically assesses the mother and thinks that's the better option for them, then 100% the mother should, go for it rather than going for a C-section where it's not required. And so this is why we've introduced our natural birthing centre, so they have a safe place for healthy births to take place.
Okay. Yeah. So natural birth centre, এটা কোথায় হচ্ছে? এটা কি মানুষের বাসায়?
So it's based in Moli Bazaar. It's our natural delivery centre, and it's where we birthing centre. So this is again a project that we are currently fundraising for as well.
So it is in Moli Bazaar town.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
But I'm just wondering, if you were to set up a rural centre, rural places.
Yeah.
I will give you an example of what we have done. I was involved in a place called Cameroon, that is when the Central African Republic Muslims were slaughtered, they escaped to the neighboring country Cameroon. Cameroon Muslim population is 20-25%. So they got shelter in a place called Douala, next to the Central African Republic. So there are a housing complex, 200 houses were built in, and there are 2 primary health care with the facilities for women to deliver in a very remote part. So we had a couple of nurses, midwife, who handle the natural birth there, etc. So in terms of equipping in a rural setting, do you have any idea of exactly what sort of logistical support may be requiring if you were to initiate?
Yeah, so do you mean to take more natural birthing centres into the rural areas? I mean, the primary way that we work in our rural areas in Bangladesh is through our One Ma model, where we will have women's groups located in these rural areas who are providing this education of, identifying red flag symptoms. And we also have health brigade members that we have trained who can make these medical assessments and do these pregnancy checks on these women. This is how we have the access to the rural areas. And then if there is a case that is, for example, a red flag case that might need escalating, we can then direct them to our clinics. But again, we can now also direct them to our natural birthing centre when the time comes of this mother giving birth. And we can facilitate them to kind of go from their rural area to the natural birthing centre for now, but of course we would like to expand.
If you were to set up a natural birth centre, in terms of equipment, what sort of equipment would you be requiring?
So there's a whole host of equipment you require. Of course, there's the beds, there's kind of the sanitary equipment to keep the procedure as clean as possible. You will require perhaps an ultrasound.
No surgery material?
No, so that's the whole point of having a natural birth, is to keep it as simple as possible. And providing the mother with kind of other means of, just monitoring the mother throughout the birth. And making sure that she can give birth as safely as possible.
So the equipment is not that that expensive?
Yeah, so there might be a sort of equipment to monitor the mother herself. So, blood pressure machine or heart rate monitors. There's also ultrasound machines that you might need before the mother's going, before she's going into labour. So there is still equipment required, but it is not as extensive as, say, for example, surgical equipment that you might need with a cesarean section. But there is still equipment required for it.
Yes, so you have got only one. How many you have running now?
We're fundraising for one at the moment.
So what sort of budget do you have for that?
So we're trying to fundraise, I think, around 100,000 to kind of keep it sustained.
100,000 for a 1 year budget?
No, so to open it up and keep it running, I think it would be around 10,000 just for the equipment, etc. But to keep it going we don't want to just have the equipment there and kind of have it open. So to keep it sustained, we'd like to fundraise as much as possible.
That means you have to pay for the local doctors and nurses.
So we would provide for the doctors, we would provide for any staff that's also required within the hospital.
So it cannot be run voluntarily by the doctor and nurses? Impossible.
It would be, I guess, just to provide an incentive to the doctors as well. But again, that's something that we could look into as well. Yes.
So that is. So you were talking to me other interesting project. If you kindly, is it a hub?
Journey Ma.
Yes.
So Journey Ma is our flagship Bangladesh project where we take volunteers over to Bangladesh once a year during summer. And this is really the purpose of Journey Ma, is to show to our volunteers why does Ma exist and what is Ma doing about the issue of maternal health. And we call it our Global Health Accelerator Program. So we're really showcasing to our volunteers what global maternal health issues are like and how you can innovatively and sustainably solve those issues. During this program, first of all, we build a good relationship with our UK volunteers and our Bangladesh volunteers. So we kind of get them we have a hackathon day where, where they're team building and kind of getting to know how the different teams in Bangladesh work. Once they have established a good relationship, we then are visiting our local health camps. So we have 3 villages that we have health camps running in during Journey Ma. We have our Balagonj clinic, and each clinic has a theme as well. So the Balagonj clinic is to show to our volunteers how pregnancy checks take place or antenatal checks take place.
So the volunteers go there and perform that?
So they are actually partnered up with a doctor or a volunteer from Bangladesh, and they're able to do some of these checks themselves. So we're assessing blood glucose to check for gestational diabetes. We're looking at blood pressure to look for preeclampsia. We take urine analysis to look for urinary tract infections, which is high risk for the mother and the baby. So the focus for the Balagonj Health Camp is how to do pregnancy checks or
very good.
Pregnancy checks in general. That's a very good starting point.
So any volunteers, it is eye-opening for them.
Exactly, definitely. And we provide the training for volunteers to do that.
Before they go.
Yeah, so once we get there, we provide them with that training. Our second health camp is our health camp in Ramsiri, which is in Hobbygonj. And the focus in this health camp is girls' education. So this is actually my favorite health camp because we partner up with a local school. So we have our pregnancy checks taking place with the mothers.
Yeah.
We also have a school where we're teaching girls.
Is it girls' school?
Girls' school, exactly. Between the ages of, I think, 9 and 15, roughly.
Oh, very young.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's the perfect opportunity to teach girls about how to equip themselves with the knowledge of protecting themselves from, issues that they may face once they become mothers or become pregnant later on in life. But also just how to take care of themselves kind of during their menstrual cycles and how to remain hygienic and kind of female reproductive health as well. So that's the education that we provide to young girls.
How many girls do take part in that?
So I think the school roughly has one class per year of about 30 girls per class in each year.
Class 8, 7, 8.
Yeah, roughly those. So there's about 4 classes that we teach, and
So
each
quite
one.
a lot, 120 odd.
Yeah, so there's
kids.
quite a lot of girls, and they're actually, because we're going every year, as the girls are going through school, they're kind of getting this knowledge or this education reinforced as well as the younger girls are coming in and learning.
They can actually go and take part in the assessment center, like the Balagonj. You can take these girls who are...
The way that I see it is the more younger girls that we are teaching about kind of, reproductive health and feminine hygiene, the more girls are remaining in school, because actually one of the taboo topics that we're trying to tackle at MA is access to education in the first place. So when girls are going through these moments in their lives, they're not actually going to school. So we're teaching them that if you are able to kind of take care of yourselves, you are able to then come to school. You can then get an education. You might then be able to, say, go to medical school, become a doctor, and then later on work to provide the same healthcare that we are providing at our health camps. The second component, which is health brigade members. So these are healthcare professionals that have been trained to assess mothers for pregnancy checks. So like I mentioned before, the glucose monitoring, all of those pregnancy checks, those health brigade members can make those assessments.
So health brigade member is recruited from the first group? Or separately?
So we train them separately, and they can then come in to
So they are
women's
medical
groups.
professionals or not?
Yes, so they are...
Health brigade...
Exactly, so they have a medical background, yeah,
Okay.
so they're medical students, and we give them the training to then make these assessments.
Yeah.
They can then assess these mothers and see who might be at more higher risk or might have red flag symptoms.
Yeah.
And they can then direct, so you might have an image in front of you, they can direct these high risk cases to a central hub, which is our antenatal clinic or pregnancy clinic, and they can then further get the treatment that they need at this clinic. So we have the different spokes of women's groups. We have the health brigade members that are directing high-risk cases to the central hub, which is our clinic.
So I would be asking you now to address the audience two elements. One is the young students, young professionals who can potentially join your MA journey.
Definitely.
So you have got a specific message for them, what they are going to gain out of this journey. Number two, that you would also can talk to the audience with regard to natural birth centers. So the two product that I think the MA can gain from the audience is that they're volunteering their time and effort to learn about the issue, raise fund, and take part in the journey.
I agree, definitely.
And number two is that even if they cannot take part in the journey, but they can nevertheless raise fund for you to set up this natural birth center that you are trying to raise fund for.
Yeah.
So the two occasions, so I leave the floor to you to tell.
No problem. So if you are interested in taking part in any of MA's work, whether it's joining the UK team and taking part in the behind the scenes of establishing these projects, you can join the UK team. if you are also interested in providing on-the-ground, life-changing help, then you can also apply for Journey Ma. And we have applications opening for Journey Ma every year, roughly around December time. So definitely keep an eye out. And you can, of course, follow us on social media, which is the best place to see when applications for joining Journey Ma opens. And if you would like to support Ma in other ways, for example, helping us establish this natural birthing centre, then definitely do donate, do fundraise for us, whether you would like to fundraise within your families or just by speaking to people, or whether it's in your workplace or whether you're a student and you want to fundraise. There are so many different ways that you can do, and you can also visit our website as well for further information on how you can get those funds to us, whether it's directly making a donation or whether it's taking part in an event or an activity local to you as well.
Yes, very good. Fahmida, if I were to sum it up with regard to the Natural Birth Center that has attracted my attention very deeply, I would say that equipment costs roughly to facilitate a place roughly around £10,000, and to run the clinic or center for the whole year maybe another £10,000. So £20,000 sort of to raise to have in a remote part of Bangladesh where women are unnecessarily dying because of lack of facilities, lack of awareness, etc.
Yeah.
Could be a possibility. I'm thinking loud in terms of, I raised it before the meeting, is that if it is a mosque adjacent, attached with a mosque, a facilities to provide that support. If the mosque is not available, then maybe a girls' school. So we're already the building there, so getting a room and refurbishing the room and getting the equipment there. I need your response. I'm putting you on the spot.
No,
is it something feasible?
No, you definitely put me on the spot with that one. It's definitely a very innovative idea. Maybe you should be joining our team and coming up with them. I can definitely see why you would think, you know, the girls' school is the prime location where we're providing the education to them. And if it's possible to get all the equipment that we need and the facilities that we need, then I say, you know, why not? As it's also a nice way to get the local schoolgirls involved in fundraising for this project, raising awareness. If they have mothers in their families that might be pregnant, they know that there's a natural birthing centre locally. But I think the key is just for individuals in a community just to know where that location is and to identify where's the most accessible place for them to give birth. So as long as that natural birthing centre is a safe place and a well-equipped place with well-equipped or trained doctors, then I definitely think natural births will be possible.
So there are large Muslim charities who are involved in the healthcare provision, from Islamic Relief to Muslim Aid and all of them. Every large charities do have health program, but they are generally general health program. Not many of them are focused on maternal health and others. What is your strategy to engage other large Muslim charities to join you in such a noble initiative?
Yeah, I think the main kind of approach that we have, which is, you know, evidence-based and doing our research and tackling issues in a sustainable way, is what makes us unique to other charities. And I think if we were to say, you know, try and increase engagement with other charities, it's to really put that leg forward and to showcase that we are fundamentally trying to make change in a way so that Ma no longer needs to exist. We want to establish our goals and reach our goals to the point where Ma no longer needs to exist because the issue has been resolved. So the way that we see we can do that is to look through sustainable methods.
I think it's a noble thinking that if the purpose is served, there is no need for Ma to exist. But Ma should exist as a reminder to other charities, because unfortunately, having worked with a number of charities, both Muslim and mainstream, I think this scattergun approach has to stop. People and organizations should, before they intervene, they need to realize the needs and how to address the most cost-effective way the needs. So people will be jumping in building a hospital. And I have got my money, I have got a land, I will put a hospital, 5-story hospital, Balaganj. Next door, Gulabganj will say, I have got money, I will build another hospital. But we don't need that hospital. So we have already got enough infrastructure that we can utilize. So in terms of what I see the Ma can do, the theme is to really shaking the conscience of the people who are making decisions with regard to the health provision, that there are ways of dealing with it. I'm very touched that you are doing something in Afghanistan. And particularly, I think Ma can take, in collaboration with other agencies, while you are doing the research of evidence-based what is needed, you can do a bit of research of other NGOs, what are their priorities in the health sector, and knocking at the door that if they are spending £1 million to do something, through your advice they can achieve that goal with £500,000 investment. So there are ways to do it, and it's a noble idea that you do not want to own it. Let the knowledge spread out
100%.
and let people benefit from it.
Exactly.
And that is what I would call, it is exactly the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, that you can see the ultimate objective. They call it in maqasid sharia.
Yeah.
What is the ultimate objective of this effort? So your effort is bringing the Western knowledge, scientific knowledge, and understanding the issues and to intervene in the right portion is an absolute delight for a Bangladeshi young mind to think it through. I would call it thinking the impossible.
Yeah.
But this impossible has to be made possible. So I think my advice is for you to develop the strategy of connecting with other charities so that you do not do the duplication. We can actually collaborate to achieve a greater result. And apart from Bangladesh, Bangladesh is far better off than Afghanistan, even Pakistan.
Yeah.
The maternal death in those countries, I am sure you are aware of it. Afghanistan, Pakistan, Sudan, etc. So my last comment to you, and I need your response, and with that we'll finish, whether you have got any plan to expand your activities in other Muslim countries where the needs are even acute than Bangladesh.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that we aspire to. I mean, our tagline or our ethos is to revolutionize global maternal health care. And even though we have started off in Bangladesh because this is where, our connections are the strongest and this is where we are from, so it will be a good place to start. We definitely do believe in expanding our work to countries beyond Bangladesh. And this is why we also have an academic team to look into, where is it globally that requires maternal health aid much more. And hopefully we can do so.
Thank you, Fahmida. I mean, I feel that revolutionizing the maternal health care globally, may Allah enable this initiative to become the second sort of success story for Bangladesh. Like Grameen Bank has made it, but that is based on interest. But it's a pure Islamic initiative by Ma, and I pray that it really revolutionize the global maternal health care. With this word, we conclude. Inshallah, look forward to seeing you again soon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.